Good evening, race fans and sim racing fans, as we now roll to the month of December. Happy winter, everybody, and it's going to be a fun one because though the normal version of racing season is over, the action never sleeps here on LSRTV, and we get set to bring you the RSR Icebreaker Series, kicking off tonight from the Irish Hills of a very chilly Michigan International Speedway. Jacob Seelman and Evan Pasoko here in the broadcast booth for LSR-TV as we get set to kick off the winter round of real sim racing competition. And Evan, it's only been 2 weeks. We just finished up the Full Throttle Cup Series, and let's break some ice, shall we? I'm excited. It's Michigan. It's cold. It's fast. It's going to be fun, and a whole bunch of new names now from the Cup Series field tackling what we call here on the service the B car, what will be the Xfinity Series car in 2015. Try to keep that straight 3 times in a row. But I'm excited, and we're back here on the service for some racing. It's going to be a good night.
Yeah, this series, again, running the same car that the guys ran for the Asphalt Assault Series. That was the B Series. That was a 10-race season. This only 8, so kind of a short little stint here for this season in these winter months before we get Full Throttle Cup started back up 2015. The current track temperature, or the weather temperatures right now, 78 Fahrenheit in the sim. I think that's a little optimistic. Good thing we're not using the realistic weather.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of drivers in here. There are, of course, the veteran RSR names. There are other big names from iRacing in general. There's some new faces as well. So I think it's going to be interesting to see in tonight's 90-lap race at Michigan, a track where it puts a lot of the control in the driver's hands. We'll really get to see who can do what. They're working through a 15-minute open qual, which means that things are constantly changing up top at the pole position currently held by Brian Macklin in his FedEx machine with a 40.334 right now in the top spot. Comstock, Dwayne Vincent, a lot of big names up front as we come to expect.
Yeah, a lot of big names, and we talk about this. It's 15-minute open qualifying. We're about halfway, just now over halfway through that here as Macklin, I mean, you talked about it. Big names. Garrett Atwell's back. E.J. O'Rourke making a return. I mean, Jonathan Cadell, Dan Murray, of course, some of the regulars we're used to seeing, Matt Lacrosse. And you look down this list, and it's a mix of new guys and old wily veterans. And that's what's going to make this fun, is because it's a different field than what we've been used to for the last 8 months, Evan. And that means new variables, some old favorites and new foes. And, we call it the icebreaker for a reason, because not but I have a feeling there's going to be some broken hearts at the end of tonight's race at Michigan. 180 miles, that is a lot of time. These races coming down to fuel mileage quite often. We saw one of the 2 Full Throttle Cup Series races at Michigan earlier this year all but come down to fuel mileage. A caution put some of the guys on the edge earlier, but depending on how the cautions fall, we could see it go either way. We usually do. This is a strategy game. It's about pit stops. It's about fuel. And every once in a while, it's about diving it into turn 1, 3 wide, and hoping it sticks, especially at this racetrack.
Yeah, there's a 50-50 split on the way this race can go. There's a lot of guys in here. Again, so far 31 drivers have put down a time in qualifying. We had 33 put down the time in the practice session. 35 entries as we sit right now, including a lot, again, those big names from the Full Throttle Cup Series. This race could easily have very long green flag runs like we saw with Cora. They were here with the beat car at Michigan this past weekend, and that was another solid race. So it could either be that, or it could be one of those survival of the fittest, one of those attrition races where you just try to get through. There's a lot of guys vying for, despite how wide this racetrack is, not a lot of real estate that you want to be putting that car into. You can play with it a little bit, but these guys are going to be fighting for whatever track position that they can get, and that's what's going to keep things exciting here, especially to get things kicked off. Again, the years, and again, it's back for the 2014-2015 split here on the New Year's side of things, and it should be, again, a great season. We got a lot of good tracks coming up. I love these B cars. They're very momentum based, and just looking to get it kicked off with a good race tonight.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. And oh, by the way, Evan, if the fact that it's only 8 races wasn't enough, it's 8 races with 0 drops. There's no chance for a mulligan. If you want to win this title, you don't necessarily have to be perfect, because we all know on this sim that's nigh on impossible to do, but you have got to be pretty close, because you slip up, you have one disastrous finish, it could well take you out of the hunt for a championship, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Qualifying officially wrapping up right here. Dwayne Vincent grabbing the pole at a quick lap of 40.327 miles per, or rather 40.327 seconds, around 180 miles an hour. Average speed, Evan. I mean, these guys fly. It's not 212 down into turn one like we've seen the last couple of years on the Cup side. Obviously, a little bit less power under these machines, but it's still fun nevertheless. And Vincent, Macklin, that is a front row with a whole lot of experience on it, especially considering that Dwayne Vincent coming off his first Pro Series start last week.
Yeah, and Dwayne was leading earlier in that qualifying session. Comstock Macklin put up some good times, and he was able to get it back really in those closing laps, so he's able to get the pole. That's one of the things that you gotta love about these open qual sessions, is really nothing is guaranteed. You can go out there, try a couple of different things, and see what you get out of it. So the 9 to 30 on the front row. Then you've got David Comstock, the number 20 machine. He'll be starting inside of that second row. That's going to be P3. Alongside him, another regular here at RSR, Ronnie Potts, going to be in fourth.
Fifth tonight, going to go to the 21, a Matt Lacrosse. Behind him, making a return to RSR competition, the Muscle Milk Machine. The 94, a different number, that's Bobby Terrell.
Ralph Nolan Jr. driving the number 95 Chevrolet. Going to be rolling off from 7th position. Alongside him, that double 5 is the 55 of Dan Murray in 8th.
Dan Murray coming so close to that Full Throttle Cup championship just a couple weeks ago. Behind him, Stefan Marinak, who almost stole a win during the chase. He starts 9th in the 24 tonight. Garrett Atwell back after a couple of Full Throttle Cup starts this season. He returns to RSR with a 10th place qualifying effort.
The big names back on row number 6. P11 going to go to the 23 of E.J. O'Rourke. Alongside him, the 31, that's going to be Mike Montesi.
Jonathan Cadell, so close to the title in the Cup Series. 13th tonight for him. Doug Roth, 14th behind those two. Row 8, Kevin Linden and John Higman Jr., second winningest RSR driver all time.
Roger Wagner going to be starting in 17th. Alongside him, William Kempf, that's 18th position. 19th to L. Price Whitson Jr. Rounding out the top 20, going to be Scott Saunders.
Wyatt Wolf rolling 21st in the 56. 22nd tonight, the 4, Scott Simley. Joey Jutina in the 14. He starts 23rd, and rounding out row number 12 in that 92. Back is Jason Lester.
25th going to be Brian Harvey. Alongside him, Jay Randall Watkins. John Abbott scheduled to start in 27th. Mark Bratcher was set for P28 on the grid. He is not on track as the field now rolls down the front straightaway. 29th position to Dakota Bowman and Sherry Ann Mills, P30.
Yeah, that row 15, the two teammates, Bowman and Mills. The last car to take time, Josh Morgan, the 97, rolls 31st, and 4 cars not taking time. Jimmy North, how about a big name at the back of the field? Nathan Little, 33rd. John Wilco, 34th. Stephen Herring, shotgun on this field again. 180 miles, 90 laps tonight from the Irish Hills of Michigan. We're set to kick it off with a Pro Series favorite on the pole. Does he remain that way throughout this race? Well, I guess we're about to find out, because this field is going to roll into turn number 3. And as I got to all season long with the Full Throttle Cup Series, just want to start by saying thank you, all of you out there who are tuning in on LSRTV tonight for round 1 of the RSR Icebreaker Series, kicking off this winter in style. Wherever you are, happy holidays. We hope you're enjoying it, and we hope you're about to enjoy some great this field to the American Ethanol green flag. It goes in the air. We go underway here from Michigan International Speedway. The 2014-2015 Icebreaker Series is green, and they're already 3 wide to turn 1.
Yeah, no challenge from that 30 of Brian Macklin. 6 goes to the high side, the 20 to the bottom. That was the second row. They tried to split that 30. Ronnie Potts had to back off of it, and he's going to lose a lot of time. 94, 55 to 95 as well. All going to go to the inside on him. They still go at it for second. Give to David Comstock into the corner. Coming with him, the 20 to Matt Lacrosse. He goes to the inside on Macklin as well.
Yeah, Dwayne Vincent basically took that first lap and said, bye, I'm gone. and left the battle for third right now. They're wheeling, trying to go 3 wide off turn number 4 down to the stripe. It is going to be at the line. Matt Lacrosse taking over that third spot for an instant, but the momentum rolling on the high lane right now. Brian Macklin's not done, and put Bobby Terrell in that battle as now Lacrosse going to get clear and move Terrell into that battle for P4 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Bobby Terrell always so strong in these B cars, always a contender on the Asphalt Assault Series for that championship. Finished second position in the points for the second straight year. Trying to get some redemption for that as well. Here in the Icebreaker Winter Series, he tried to go to the inside. 30 Machines able to hang on. 55 slides in behind him.
Four wide behind him, Evan.
95, 19, 6, and 23 at the stripe.
Yeah, that's where I say yikes, because there's still 4 wide down to turn number 1. They're going to run out of room, and everybody's got to back off. About the 2 middle rows are the ones who escape all that. Evan, it's a hornet's nest down the back straightaway. About 9 cars off turn 2 within half a second.
Everybody's still going for it. You can't say that they're taking it easy to get this thing kicked off. Everybody battling hard now, and it is a hornet's nest down there. Single file, 24 is on the bottom, trying to make some sort of a move. That's Stefan Baranek. Way up on the high side, you're going to find the 95. That's Ralph Nolan Jr. He's sliding the wrong direction as to his inside goes the 31. That's Mike Montesi trying to get up to a top 10 position there, side by side at the start-finish line. And the 31 trying to get a nose on the inside of Maranek as well. He does in a 1.
Have some side-by-side racing, and this is exactly what we expect every time we come to Michigan. Jonathan Cadell in a new red and white paint scheme, peeking to the inside. That's going to be a battle around 11th place right now. He's to the inside of Ralph Nolan, actually looking for a spot on the outside there, trying to keep it in the top 10. You've still got Montesi there. You've got Roger Wagner there in the 46. They are dicing it up all over the place. Marinak's going for 8th place on Ronnie Potts. I mean, it is 2 by 2 by 2, about 5 rows deep.
Top 7 as they sit right now, single file, nothing going on there at the moment. Vincent still leads by 0.3 of a second. You talked about the first side-by-side battle, has Maranak down low. He's going to get clear of that number 6, Ronnie Potts. That's going to slide Potts back to P9 after starting in 4th. Right behind them, side-by-side, going to single file it for a moment. 31 at a 95 now, go bumper to bumper. Still at it door-to-door with the 46 up high. That is Roger Wagner. The 11 and Jonathan Cadell goes to the inside. 95 slides tight as the 46 think about shooting the gap. Possible 3 wide, not enough room there. 23 in that mix as well. And then diving down to the bottom goes the 46 and the 23. Everybody trying to get whatever advantage from that draft as they can, tucking right up underneath each other.
Back to turn 1 they go now, Evan, and you know, we're seeing some of these guys duck all the way below the white line to that 8. How much time is that really going to pick you up tonight? I mean, it doesn't look like a lot. Some people say it picks you up a lot of time over the course of this race. I just don't see how much ground you're really going to gain. And getting off that banking, it's really going to upset the balance of that race car.
Yeah, it's not like a plate track, so you're allowed to go down there. I don't think it's really going to have much of a benefit. You do want to arc that corner, though, to be able to carry a lot of speed through, again, these B cars, so momentum-based. I really don't think you want to get down on that apron. Now, I mean, we were 4 wide. Maybe you got to do what you got to do at that point. But, I mean, you're seeing these guys, they're not quite going all the way to the bottom. They're leaving about a lane there through the corner. I think that's going to be the preferred lane. That side-by-side battle, the 6 has gone back at it. Ponce to the inside on Maranak, and well, behind him we got a lot more. The 11, the 31, the 46, all battling. 3 wide now for a split second, down at a 3.
How many times have I said hello Hornet's Nest already tonight, and they keep trying to do it again, Evan? I mean, it is dicey all the way back through here. The 11, the 31, the 46, the 23, the 95, the 43's in this. Add the 6 and the 24 as Jonathan Cadell in the 11 tags the grass. Little bit of dust coming up from out back of that 11 machine, and Cadell keeps it going the right direction and continues making up time. On 9th place, Ronnie Potts. I don't even want to call that a pass in the grass just yet, Evan, because he was barely in the grass, but you saw the dust trail and he barely hangs on to it.
We got a swap up inside the top 5, the 30 of Brian Macklin. Again, after starting up on that front row there in second spot, slid back on the start. He's able to get back around the Twitter to Matt Lacrosse. That's for P3. And then also Bobby Terrell tries to make a move. 21 goes down, shuts the door. So now again, for a moment, this top 6 breakaway, they have about 2.5 seconds back to 7th, who is Garrett Atwell. And then about a second from him on back is really where all the action has been so far. The 23 and the 6 still side by side behind them. 43 and the 30. Big checkup from the 23. That's going to check up the bottom as E.J. O'Rourke had to get on the binder. Sideways is L. Bryce Whitson Jr. Everybody able to hang on from there, but still very active around this P13 pack.
That was a case where everybody on the bottom had nowhere to go. Doug Roth had nowhere to go when E.J. O'Rourke started to check up in that 23 machine, and it just stacked it up on back from there. Bryce Whitson Jr., the 00, I mean, everybody got stuck and bottlenecked, and you don't usually see that outside lane make a lot of passes. It worked right there because there was no momentum on that short lane around this racetrack, and now we're seeing him go 3 wide behind Doug Roth. Are trying to go 3 wide up there on that top lane. Scott Simley and L. Bryce Whitson Jr. going at it, the 4 and the 00. And what's amazing is all this going around at about 16th as we've got caution for the first time tonight.
Field gonna slow him down, trouble down the back. Jimmy North, he's up at the outside wall. The Jimmy Johnson Foundation Chevrolet Impala is backed into the fence. Gonna see what caused this, and oh, it was a 3 wide situation that got real ugly real quick. There was a huge checkup. The 60, the 95, the 56, they come all 3 wide coming at it too. Huge check from that 60 of John Higman Jr. That caused the 84 to get on the binders, and much like we saw at the start of the race, the guys behind him, which would have been the second row in that initial start, tried to split that 84 car, and 48 just caught the wall, turned dead left, and hooked Jimmy out into the outside wall. Him and the 48 going to get damage from that. That's what brings out the caution. Also ought to make note, we had another car that had some trouble earlier on as well. The 62 of John Wilco had, I guess you call it a self-spin, pretty much plowed that right side into the fence, lost a lot of time. He'll be able to group back up and recover here under yellow, but that was something that happened about 2 laps ago. But caution out for the 48 and the 84.
Yeah, and can we make mention that under caution with 10 laps, 20 miles complete, that while we were watching the Hornets' nest that was about 6th to 16th, there was a change for the lead. David Comstock over Dwayne Vincent, Brian Macklin, Matt Lacrosse, Bobby Terrell, the top 5, and Murray, Garrett Atwell, Stephen Marinac, Roger Wagner, Jonathan and Cadell, the top 10, as all the leaders, Evan, they're on pit road, led by that 20 of Comstock, and that is a fast piece, especially on these intermediate racetracks.
A 20 going to be leading him down. Problem for him is Dwayne Vincent right behind him, going to have the advantage of that number 1 pit stall. We'll see if he can use it to his advantage. Both the 9, the 30, and the 20 into their stalls down at the end of pit road. 6 machine there as well. That is Ronnie Pott's entry. Looks like 4 tires from the majority of our leaders here, and that number 1 pit stall not going to be enough for Dwayne Vincent. He's going to come off in 3rd, I believe. The 00 may have got it from him. No, I think Dwayne's going to be able to get 2nd. L. Bryce Whitson Jr. comes off 3rd. That's going to be a 2-tire stop, as well as E.J. O'Rourke leading it off pit road. 2 cars going to take 2 tires.
And the 2-tire strategy, we'll see if it'll work. Not usually do we see a whole lot of that here at Michigan, unless you're asking for about 5 wide on the restart. But right now, it's going to hand the 23 of E.J. O'Rourke the top spot under caution with 12 of 90 laps complete here from the Irish Hills of Michigan, Evan. And we reset the top 10. We'll reset it when they come back around the stripe. But I think chaotic might be an understatement for how this Michigan race has started. What a first 10 laps to kick off this Icebreaker Series. I mean, these guys are not wasting any time tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how this racetrack is wide, but I wouldn't suggest going 4 wide on lap 2. And then nobody really backed out of it. I mean, they all pretty much stuck with it. So that was exciting. The 95, the 19, the 6, the 23 were all in that. They were 2, 3 wide behind them as well. And I think it's only going to get more exciting as we go. That's the start of the race. Again, everybody on equal tires. Now that we got the tire strategy call, and it does look like that actually Dwayne is going to be able to beat that 00 off pit road. So we're going to have the cars on 2 tires sitting in 1st and 3rd. And you got Dwayne and David Comstock. They're going to be on the outside of row 1 and 2, P2 and P4. Going to see what they can do with that. But only 10 laps into this. Going to be interesting to see if that gamble is worth it. If you're a guy like L. Bryce Whitson Jr., E.J. O'Rourke, we saw him kind of up in that hornet's nest. He started 11th, the 00 started 19th, so I guess if they don't drop further back the way they started, it's some sort of a pickup in position. I don't really quite expect them to be able to hang with Dwayne and David, the way, how fast they have been as well. Also, the 20 of Matt Lacrosse has shown speed as well. Don't count him out of this quite yet either. He's back in 5th position. He lost a couple of spots there once we got about 10 laps in, but that 21's been battling quite well, so I don't anticipate these guys on 2 tires to be able to really put up a legitimate fight against those guys with 4. Not, so much on the differential, just those guys have been so fast up front, but I do think they're going to be able to get quite a good pickup, possibly staying even some top 5 spots. It all depends on how well they get going and if they're able to be a part of that lead pack that, again, broke away by about 3 seconds over the calamity on that initial start.
And now after the initial start, we're going to gear up for the first American Ethanol restart of the night, which should come with 14 of 90 laps complete. Looks like they're going to double up this time and get set to rock, roll, and shake and rattle. And I don't know how many colorful adjectives you want me to define, Evan. I can keep going all night with those, but we're going to shake, rattle, rock, roll, and maybe even race back to the green flag here in a little under 2 miles. Was it you that mentioned rock and roll night here? You mentioned something.
Yeah, we are ready to rock and or roll if necessary.
So, see, I knew that if I brought it up, and I mean, that's what, 14 laps into this? We haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet.
Well, they were wrecking in the back. Just wait until things get real heated up front. That's when it's going to get exciting. We still have, again, a lot of cars. Actually, all 35 still on the lead lap. So, it's just like the start of the race, just we got less laps, which means you got to get more aggressive. Still early, but the track position always so key. And if you're not going to be pulling something on that pit strategy, you really got to take advantage of these restarts, try to get whatever you can out of them. And sometimes that requires you to make some daring moves, we'll call them. We'll not call them over-aggressive. Makes it exciting for us, but you got to be aggressive, to say the least, on this one. You got to get physical on these restarts.
I think physical might be the word of the night. The rate we're going. Green flag's going to come still with 76 laps to go. Almost 160 miles. A lot of time ready to roll as we come back off turn 4. iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car makes the turn to pit road, or is about to make the turn to pit road, and we're set to roll. Pace car's gone. Field in the hands of E.J. O'Rourke, Dwayne Vincent. Green flag back in the air. The 23 gets the jump with the 9. Gonna be able to slide in down on the bottom, slide in. We got guys looking to the apron, but Vincent, I think, is gonna have the hold. Yes, he does, to turn number 1. And Comstock on that outside, trying to take advantage of some fresh rubber. He's got Matt Lacrosse to his inside. That's the battle for 4th.
Him and the 21 were going at it, and Matt's going to get stuck behind that 00 who's sitting on the 2-tire call. L. Bryce Whitson Jr. down on the low line. Meanwhile, up front, Dwayne Vincent to the bottom, through, gone. Clear of that 23 of E.J. O'Rourke. Put the number 9, Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet, back to the point. Top 2 single file out. You got Comstock now trying to clear that 00. That is for 3rd. And then also the 94 of Bobby Terrell. He's actually trying to get around that 21 of Matt Lacrosse. That's going to be the battle for 5th.
That's going to be the battle for 5th right now, and Lacrosse is not wanting to let it go very easily. You've got Terrell in this mix who's digging on the bottom. Lacrosse not ready to give it up on the top. That's going to allow Garrett Atwell, Stefan Marinak perhaps even to get into this battle. It's about to get even more fun. And Evan, just like we're getting ready to see, they about make contact.
Downs. Wow. 3, 4, 5 wide now, trying to get around it. That's not going to work. Hold on, 31-30, there they go. Huge wreck.
And there's the caution.
That it wasn't going to work. Oh, we're still wrecking. Jimmy North around.
And
he's in the wall, too.
Sure. Hey, you said it wasn't going to work. Guess what? It did.
Nope. I was correct on that prediction. That got real. The 00 was really pushing tight on exit, and he was stuck in a 3-wide situation. And I mean, again, the fact that the guy on the bottom's not on that apron things really got tight. And I think you could argue that Lacrosse could have gave more room, but it's 3 wide. You got to get what you can out of it. He's trying to get around that the car on the 2 tires, and they had went around. And good job by Dan Murray to get around that 0-0. And then once we got 5 wide, I knew it was pretty much not going to work from there. But they made it stick a lot longer than I was anticipating at first. But it got ugly real quick there at 4. A lot of cars in that one.
Yeah, a lot of cars having scary moments in that one. And by the way, Evan, let's have a little fun, shall we? What if I told you I found us a driver analyst?
I may or may not have taken a peek in our little booth here, but surprise me with it. I'll act like I didn't cheat on it.
I can surprise you. How about the Full Throttle Cup Series champion for 2014? That's up top here on LSRTV. Eric Brundy's along for the ride at Michigan. And, you know, Eric, I'm used to seeing you all season out there with these knuckleheads. And tonight you're up here with us, kind of taking it all in. Probably having a well-deserved break. I saw the trophy finally came in the mail. Has that sunk in on the mantle yet?
Oh yeah, you know, it's great. I think I came in at the right time. You know, I was just about ready to say how much fun this looked, and then they all wrecked. So I don't know, maybe I'm glad I'm not out there, but no, man, it's been great, and just taking a little break and recharging my batteries a little. But man, it really looks fun out there.
They were 5 wide and we're not even a third of the way through. I think that fits the definition of fun. It fits the definition of exciting in my book. I mean, for you, it's rare, like we said, that you get the opportunity to just sit back and take a look at this. What have you seen so far? I mean, this is played out a little bit different than the Full Throttle Cup Series stops we had here in the Irish Hills earlier in the season.
Oh yeah, you know, in the B car, you can drive it a lot harder. You can drive it into the corner harder, and so you know, a big wide track like this, you can get away with 3 and 4 wide a lot easier than the Cup car. So yeah, I think this track is pretty much perfect for this car, I think.
Pit stops from some of the guys in the back of the pack here, getting some damage repair done, but it is Dwayne Vincent up front of the field right now. Second EJ O'Rourke again. The guys that had the 2-tire call, well, O'Rourke's actually done quite a good job of hanging in there. He sits second right now. Bryce had that big issue there in 3 and 4, and it was part of what caused that big melee coming off the quarter. And Eric, I know you've been taking a look. It's still very early on in this race, and Michigan is a very wide racetrack. You can, as we've seen tonight, make it 4 and 5 wide. You might not necessarily make it out of the next corner, but with these B cars being so momentum based, is it really forcing these guys into a position that, you know, you probably shouldn't put the nose there, you probably shouldn't make that move, but you can't give up an opportunity to give up that many spots when track position going to be so key?
Well, yeah, I mean, especially at a track like this, it's pretty much pass or be passed. So, you know, car, you got to be more aggressive, and especially this track, you got to keep on your toes, and you got to keep aggressive, because otherwise you're going to get attacked on the track. So, yeah.
Well, that makes things exciting for us. I know you said it looked like fun. See that now you get to see it. It's typically exciting for us when you guys have these wild races, or there's, you know, the big drama, the big wrecks. It's always more entertaining for us than it is behind the wheel. So we're going to be getting set for yet again another restart, coming off of our second yellow of the night. Again, 90 laps. It's going to be a 70 to go restart. Jacob working on a little bit of mic issues here at the moment, but it is going to be the front row of the number 9 and the 23. Vincent on the bottom, O'Rourke up on the high side. The 20 of Comstock going to be able to pick up one spot in that exchange. He's up to P3. Bobby Terrell up to 4th. One car slow on the apron, dropping to the back of the pack here. That appears to be the number 31 car down there, sliding down backwards. Again, we had everybody on the lead lap the last time. We got a couple guys off at the moment. Jimmy North, Brian Harvey, Joey Gattina are all off of the lead lap right now. That still leaves us with 32 lead lap cars at the moment. It is the 31 of Mike Montesi who is sliding to the back of the pack. He will have to restart way back about row 15 for this restart. Lights off for the pace car, getting set for another restart. Gonna dive down to the safety of pit road this time, coming off the corner, and Let's see what kind of restart that 23 can make from the outside of the front row. Dwayne Vincent, control car, hesitates 1-2 seconds. Now he's off and away. Green flag back at the air and an immediate challenge from David Comstock. He wants P2 to the inside on EJ O'Rourke. He goes. They're going to be nose to nose. Give it out half a car length. Give it to that 20. By the time they get into the corner, at the 19 of Garrett Atwell, trying to get two birds with one stone. He gets around the 94, threw it to the inside of EJ O'Rourke. Can't quite make that one stick. Tries to get in line. He will tuck in line down the back straightaway for a moment. Goes to the bottom, tries to protect that position from the 94 of Bobby Terrell. He's been able to make his way up to now a top 5 running position after starting back in 10th spot. One of the regulars that we see on LSRTV Sunday nights typically, with the Cora Sunday Money Series making his first RSR appearance. The number 19 machine, I do believe, is going to be able to slide that car up into P4 that time by. Top few guys, single file, an aggressive move by Terrell, trying to get to the outside. Nothing going to come from that, but Calamity Corner remains where it has been all race long. Right around P15 is where you got all these guys stacked up at a single file line. Lots of 2 wide as well. The 10 making an aggressive move up top. That's going to be John Abbott's machine. The 38 going to try to make a move on the bottom. That is Mark Bratcher. He'll fight for that with John Higman Jr. That battle for P12 down to the 1 and 2 as well. And now Terrell trying to get the spot back from Atwell. This once again the battle for 4th up inside the top 5. These guys battling. Look out, the 55 of Dan Murray, 3 wide to the bottom. Who's going to back out of it? They hang on. 19 trying to dig hard. Nobody. 55 slides up right on that left side of that machine. Dan Murray nearly rubbing doors there with Bobby Terrell. They sorted out the big winner in that one. Going to be the 19. He's able to defend P4. And then that 21 of At Lacrosse sneaks through on the high side after it was Dan Murray's dive bomb move. 3 wide on the front straightaway. Just couldn't make that thing stick. He's going to slide back now to P7. The 46 got a good run on him. Does Roger Wagner try to make a move? He does. To the bottom goes the Phonetic Chevrolet. Now Terrell to the inside on Atwell again. The 94 may be slightly faster than that 19. They've been going at it the last 2-3 laps, and now Terrell going to be able to get clear down into the quarter. 19 backs it up, tries to think of possibly crossing him over or getting some sort of a run off. Can't get that job done and give P4 back to Bobby Terrell. He started in 6th position, now a top 5 car at the moment. Matt Lacrosse has been one of the drivers that has been up front all race long. He is working some minor left side damage after contact with the 00 that brought out our most recent caution. That happened down in quarters number 3 and 4. The 46 to 55 now side by side. That is Dan Murray and Roger Wagner. That battle for P7. Right now, our leaders, again, are the only ones that are being able to pull away from this one. Side by side, still the 55 to 46. They're the closest front runners, we'll call them, that are double file at the moment. David Comstock has gone back to the top spot. And Eric, is it very easy at this kind of a racetrack, Michigan, one of the more abrasive surfaces, we could say, in these B cars? You see guys that are fast off the starts. I know we saw David Comstock and a couple of his Full Throttle Cup Series starts. Chicago comes to mind. Really fast on the short run and slowed it down a little bit on the long run. Was really getting beat by the other competitors on a long stretch. Vincent's looked good right out of the bat. Comstock looking strong. Is it very easy to kind of wear these tires out, and tire conservation would be a big factor in this one if we get a long green flag run?
Oh yeah, I mean, because kind of what you were saying, you can't really, you can't afford not to go hard with these cars and this track. So it's really, really hard to save tires, because you're probably going to fall out of the top 10 if you start saving tires. And so you got to run it for all it's worth and just hope to get a caution, I guess. But yeah.
Track position, again, going to be another key thing, because, again, all these battling, if you're still a top 10 car, you're already finding yourself 2 seconds out. Contact between the 4 and the 41. Scott Simley and Nathan Little rubbing doors a little bit down the front straightaway. They were side by side right behind the door-to-door battle in front of them that saw Wyatt Wolf and Mark Bratcher going at it. That was for 11th spot, and they were trying to negotiate real estate to get around that and made a little bit of contact. No harm, no foul on that. They're single file for the moment. Bobby Terrell exchanging some words over the radio with some of the other drivers right now. Again, he's P4 at the moment right now, but everybody's sliding back. One car up high, losing a lot of time in 3 and 4. That's the 60 of John Higman Jr. He'll lose a position, and that got down into 3, a little bit hot and heavy. We see the single file here, Eric, and obviously no restrictor plates here at Michigan, so if anything, we're really challenging those plate track times with these cars out here. Draft has to be a factor, and we've seen a couple times. Best example I can think of immediately is Bobby Terrell and Garrett Atwell. We got a trouble now back in the pack. One car's in the wall. Caution flag is out, and we slow him down in 3 and 4. Trying to get a number on that. Up and around is the 95 of Ralph Nolan Jr. That machine has back-end damage. It appears he had some help as he caught the fence. Something that you can do here at Michigan quite often is where that safer barrier jets out. If you're up on the high side, it can grab you, suck you into the wall. The 10 machine, John Abbott, was right behind him, did a great job of keeping off him, but the 95 really had to turn that thing right when the 30 and the 60 came flying through, and that was heavy contact for Ralph Nolan Jr. So he's hard into the fence. We group him up now behind the pace car. Race leader is David Comstock. And back to the point of the draft. The draft is, it's there. We saw Terrell and Atwell. Atwell would make a pass, and then all of a sudden it appeared that the 94 was faster. He'd make a pass. And then when it cycled back with the 19 behind him, he'd be able to get that extra runner speed. How strong, Eric, is that draft out here in these B cars?
No, I think you notice it a lot more in the B car than the A car. Definitely, if you're past, in the B car, you can pull the crossover in the next corner of the draft. So especially at this track. So yeah, it's going to factor in all that, I think.
And we are about to cut this race into a third under this caution flag. It appears that our leader is going to be coming down pit road. We saw two guys take a two-tire stop the last cycle through. One of them sits right now up inside a top 5 spot in 4th. The other driver back in 25th. Risk versus reward. Tonight, Comstock leads him down. Again, Vincent going to have the advantage of that number 1 pit stall, which was able to get him out in front of that 20 on the last cycle. We'll see what Comstock has for that 9 car as they now enter their stalls down on the end of pit road. 55 miles an hour. Vincent gets in way hot. He's going to overshoot it a little bit. 9's got to put it in reverse, back it up. That's going to cost Dwayne Vincent some time. This could give David Comstock the upper hand on the race off of pit road, but looks like we got some two-tire takers. The 19, Garrett Atwell, first one off. The 20 is going to be the first one off on 4 tires. But Garrett Atwell, who was a top 5 car, going to be taking that 2-tire call. He will be the first car going off of pit road. And after what we saw, we saw O'Rourke be able to maintain a top 5 spot. And we saw Bryce slide way back into the 20s after being at an incident. Interesting move by the 19, who I believe, again, being alone already, a top 5 car. Not really like we saw the guys that did it the first time where they were back in the teens and were really getting a good track position gain. The 19 is a top 5 car. He's going to make the strategy call. We'll see how that works out. Next time by, going to be 60 laps to go. We're going to step away for a commercial break. 1/3 through the season opener. You're watching the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series. The Michigan 90 to get things kicked off, and we got more racing coming up on the other side on LSRTV. Back live from Michigan International Raceway, getting set for our third restart, coming off of a caution flag. That one had some contact coming through the corner, but we're going to get set. We are 1/3 through this race, and restart going to be coming up here with just about 58 laps to go. Two-tire call once again for the 19 of Garrett Atwell. He will start from the top spot. Alongside him, David Comstock and Dwayne Vincent, who overshot his stall just a little bit that time down pit road under caution flag conditions. Gonna lose 3 spots. He's back to P5 inside row 3 for this next restart. 19 going to be in control of this one. Pace car gets set to dive down to the safety of pit road.
Pace car's off, and for this American Ethanol green flag restart, we're taking it. With 32 laps complete, Garrett Atwell at the controls into the green flag. He's back out in front of this field, and we are back underway as Comstock going to try to slot in second. They want to go 3 wide behind them. They're thinking better of it for the moment. Bobby Terrell and the 94 wanted to make that dive. He's hanging on for the moment. The 9 now is going at it. Dwayne Vincent trying to make a move on E.J. O'Rourke. That's for about the 4th position. Inside-outside scramble. You've got Matt Lacrosse up there. Dan Murray up to the top 7 for the first time tonight. And they're trying to go 3 wide as we've got a challenge for the lead up high. David Comstock to the outside of Atwell. That's off of 4 for the lead here with 33 laps coming to complete. And Comstock's going to do it on the hop, the top side.
Yeah, that 19 had a little bit of a bobble there off the corner. He throws the block on the 94. Actually just spoke to Garrett there under the caution flag. He is not happy right now with the 94 of Bobby Terrell. Believe they have been exchanging some words throughout the race so far. You saw the 19 significantly slower, throw the block on the 94, go a little bit lower to cut that line off from Bobby Terrell. So that's going to keep that Muscle Milk Chevrolet back in 3rd. Don't expect the 19 to roll over and let that 94 just drive on by. Meanwhile, still a lot of 2 wide, about 3 rows deep, 21 and a 55 going at it. That's going to be for P6 and a big scramble right behind them. 24 car thinking about making it 3 wide on the 46 and the 6. Still battling hard inside the top 10.
Yeah, and inside the top 3 now as the challenge is on for P2. Bobby Terrell inside, Garrett Atwell outside. Terrell's going to take that 2nd spot away. And the 94, drop Atwell back to 30. Tried to give the 94 a shot through turn number 2. Thought better of it. Meanwhile, behind the front 5, they're 2 by 2, about 3 rows deep. Make it about a 6-car scramble from Matt Lacrosse, Dan Murray, Roger Wagner on back.
Swamping it out again for P2. 19 got clear for a moment. Terrell battles back. Huge run. Does he go 3 wide? E.J. O'Rourke down to the bottom. They're going to go at it. 3 wide now for P2. And on those 2 tires, the 19 hanging on for dear life. This did not work out. Last time we saw it with a car on 2 tires inside the top 5. 23 get back out of it for the moment, get back to the gas, and almost had to slam on the brakes there for the 19 Terrell. You see him and the 19 of Atwell really going at it, pinching each other. They stay neck and neck for P2. That's down the back. Vincent wants P4. He's going to go at it for E.J. O'Rourke. That battle as well now. 2 wide, 2 rows deep inside the top 6.
They're 3 wide for 2nd. They were 3 wide for 8th. I mean, it is getting absolutely nuts.
Oh,
and they're
huge
trying to go
by the 19.
Yeah, the 19, and they're going 2, 3. I thought they were going to go 4 wide with Dwayne Vincent for a minute, but everybody now starting to roll by Garrett Atwell. The 9 is clear. The 21 not quite clear. That's Matt Lacrosse. Atwell, Lacrosse made a hole right there. So drop the 19 of Garrett Atwell back to 5th. Move the 21 of Lacrosse up to 4th, and meanwhile that's going to close up the 23 of E.J. O'Rourke to the inside now. That's the battle for about the 5th position, and there's a little bit of contact. The 19 about cut down on E.J. there going into 3.
The 19's just trying to get through this, still all over the place, coming out of 4. Still's got a fast machine, but again, I don't like that 2-tire call based on the fact that the guys we saw do it earlier, they were making up some substantial track position on that. They were back in the high teens. 19 was P5, but he made that call. He's sliding back now to 6th. So he's already lost a spot in that exchange and possibly going to go back another. To the inside goes the 55 of Dan Murray. That machine started back at 8th position. At a 19, going to be able to hold him off for the moment. Murray going to throw it to the inside in 3. No, he stays single file for the moment, but obviously appears to have a faster machine than that number 19 car behind them. Stefan Marinak has been in a mix of a lot of the 2-3-1 tonight. He's got a big run on these guys. The 6.
Oh, 1 car round off turn number 4. I saw somebody make a dart for the grass, Evan. Not sure if they were able to save it.
Down there. The 30 of Brian Macklin, one of our front runners earlier in the race. He's in the grass. The 38 car cut across his nose. Those two guys went for a slide through the grass, and it was the 38 of Mark Bratcher. Bratcher's able to drive away with it. Macklin had to come to essentially a stop, Jacob. He was one of the fastest cars all race long when he was up at the front of the field, and now he's in the grass, and he has left the racetrack. Not happy, immediately exiting out. Tough break.
That would be to the garage area, and J. Randall Watkins to the garage area as well. So a couple of guys not happy with this exchange, and we're just now hitting 40 laps. We're not even halfway through. That's what makes this scary. And talk about not even halfway through, the complexion's changing up front. There's a closing battle for the lead that's going on. David Comstock, the 20, has it, but the 94 of Bobby Terrell, he wants it. It's down to 5 car lengths as the leaders are in 3 and 4. Terrell on the charge as they're side by side behind them for about 7th place. Stefan Marinak to the inside in the 24.
And at 24, again, has really been having to work for what he's got so far, and he really hasn't lost a lot or gained a lot from where he started, but he's been right in the middle of all of those mixes there that were going on. Back when the 13th position was 4 wide at points, 24 was always in that mix, so he's having to work for it. He's trying to get P7 from Dan Murray. That would slide the 55 back to where he started at 8. They're both going to be closing in rather soon here on the 19. Garrett Atwell letting the drivers know that he's driving the 2 tires as hard as he can and has already dropped off now about 2 seconds from the leader, so the 2-tire call not working the way the 19 may have hoped. Marinak will now get clear of Dan Murray. The 55 has a run through the corner. Does he look to the bottom? Going to go right back at it, not give it up for 7th.
He's not giving it up at all, and as we watch the battle for 7th, the battle for the lead continues to shape up. It's down to 3 car lengths between Bobby Terrell, David Comstock, 94, 20, and even the 9 of Dwayne Vincent in this mix. And 2014 RSR Full Throttle Cup Series champ Eric Brundy's still in the broadcast booth with us. And Eric, you talked about the draft earlier. We're seeing Bobby Terrell just get right in that slipstream behind the 20 of David Comstock, trying to make up as much time as he can right now, and it's paying off. He's about a 0.5 to a 1/10 a lap quicker right now than that 20. I think we're going to see the slingshot here soon as he ducks all the way to the apron. I mean, you make up a lot of time until you get by somebody, and then as we're seeing potentially David Comstock be here in a minute, you're going to be a sitting duck.
Yeah, you know, I mean, when you're in that draft, you don't have to drive quite as hard. You can kind of save your stuff a little, and then yeah, when you get up there, you just sometimes you get a little aero tight, but otherwise, you know, usually get a good run, and you know, it's a big wide track, so you can make a pass pretty easily here in this car.
I'll throw this one at you too, because I think we've seen a lot of passing so far tonight. Do these guys realize we still have 47 laps of this race to go? I mean, some of these guys are racing for 10th like it's the last lap, and we've still got 90 miles remaining.
Yeah, you know, that's just as hard. You know, you can drive it and race it a lot harder than the A car. There's a lot bigger margin for error. You can get away with a lot more, and you can wheel it a lot more. So I think that's what these guys like about it too.
They're wheeling it right now, and while we got a chance to, coming right up on halfway, let's take a look at the Ford First Leaderboard, brought to you by Ford. Drive one out front right now of this Icebreaker Winter Series season opener. It's David Comstock in the 20, leading it by an ever-shrinking margin over the 94 of Bobby Terrell. Dwayne Vincent in the 9 rides 3rd, 4th to Matt Lacrosse and E.J. O'Rourke in 5th. Garrett Atwell 6th, Stefan Marinak holding 7th. Dan Murray back up to 8th. Scott Sibley, how about the 4 car, has made the charge up to the 9th position. And Ronnie Potts, the 6 car, completes the top 10 right now. Dropping back a little bit, Evan. He started 4th, and he has slid so far tonight.
And 3 wide up inside that top 10. Quick mention, the 24 is in the middle. Atwell up high, the 55 down low, and the 4 of Scott Simley trying to charge to the field. He's up to a top 10 spot. The 19 is in the fence. They are still 3 wide down that front straightaway. Behind them, though, single file outside of the top 10. 11th is Doug Roth, 12th position now as the 56 is able to get that spot, so move Wyatt Wolf to 11th, and then Roth back in 12th. 13th is Kevin Linden. 14th, the 10 position gain since the start for Jason Lester. 15th position is Roger Wagner. 33rd is where Nathan Little started. 16th right now, the 41 South Point Chevrolet trying to move through the field. 17th to John Hickman Jr. Behind him, John Abbott making a move on him to the inside. He's in 18th position. 19th is Dakota Bowman, and 10 seconds back from our race leader, P20, is Sherry Ann Mills.
How about 21st right now, L. Bryce Whitson Jr., the 00. 98, Stephen Herring behind him in 22nd. 23rd right now, Mark Bratcher, the 38. 24th is where we find Jonathan Cadell. 25th to John Wilco. 26th is Ralph Nolan Jr. 27th, Josh Morgan. 28th is Jimmy North. He is the first car, 1 lap down. Scott Saunders, the Rue Motorsports, number 49, is 29th, 3 laps down. Most of the rest of these cars out of this race. 30th is... Uh-oh, we got big trouble. We'll get back to that in a minute. Caution flag flies for the 3rd time tonight, and it's huge junk.
The 4 of Scott Simley, he's turned around. The Budweiser's facing the outside wall, and it all started with that 24 and the 55. Drove it in a little bit too hard. Was that 24 of Marinac, and right behind him, Dan Murray, with absolutely nowhere to go, essentially followed that 24 car into the fence. They had a huge check up the 4, ran over the 55, and Dan Murray got spit out of line. He went head on, huge contact into the inside wall, and then Simley spun out right in the middle of the racetrack, and that could have easily been a lot bigger than it was. The 10 of John Abbott just squeaking through the nose of that 4 in the fence to be able to get through. So quite a few cars going to be caught up in that one. About 3-4 total with some substantial damage. Back under caution we go. Now just past the halfway point.
That is very true. Real quick, want to finish down the cars who are currently out of this race. We may see a few join them here in a minute. But Brian Macklin, J. Randall Watkins, Mike Montesi, William Kemp, Brian Harvey, Joey Gentina from 30th to 35th tonight. Those the cars out of this race officially as we come to complete 48 laps. That is a look at your iRacing Ford First leaderboard here just past halfway. Leaders are on pit road. David Comstock and Bobby Terrell heading all the way down to the far end of pit road. Evan Soko stops underway.
And this time, Dwayne Vincent, again, he lost 3 spots on that last exchange, overdrove his stall a little bit, 55-mile-an-hour pit road speed, the second highest that you find here on the sim. So the 20 going to lead us down pit road. Vincent, once again, going to have the advantage of that number 1 pit stall. He pulls down to the end, good entry for him. Last 2 times down, we have seen at least 1 car do a 2-tire call. However, this was probably one of the longest green flag stints in between caution flag stops all night. No 2 tires, the 20 car. No challenge. Comstock going to be off first. Dwayne Vincent does pick up 1 position on Bobby Terrell, moved the number 9 to P2. Terrell comes out in 3rd, what looks like essentially 4 tires for the majority of our field, and then a lot of guys staying in for damage repair. Marinac is still in there, the 55, the 95, the 6 as well, all trying to get those machines back in, I'd say tip-top shape, but as good as they can get them at this point, trying to get whatever damage repair that they can.
And while we are just past halfway, going to complete 49 laps when they get back to the stripe, we're going to take this opportunity to go side by side here on LSRTV. When we come back, more action from the Irish Hills of Michigan. It is the Pure Michigan 180 miles tonight as we kick off the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series. You're watching LSRTV, and we'll be right back.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back to LSRTV. It's the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series, taking you through the colder months and keeping the racing going all the way back to Speed Weeks. Jacob Seelman, Evan Pasoko, and our special guest for the night up here in the broadcast booth, 2014 RSR Full Throttle Cup Series champ Eric Brundy's on the air with us as our self-appointed driver analyst for the night, and we're getting set to kick this second half of the event off with a lap 51 restart. Just going to be about 39 laps remaining here in the Irish Hills when that Ford First Mustang pace car heads back to the pit lane. It's going to be David Comstock and Dwayne Vincent on the front row as we get set to do this one more time. Vincent waiting in the wings as we have worked our way off of corner number 4. That Ford First Mustang is gone to the safety of the pit lane. In the hands of David Comstock as this field American Ethanol green flag goes back in the air, and immediately to the inside, it's the 21 of Matt Lacrosse thinking about making it 3 wide, thinks better of it. They're side by side for third. I believe that's Bobby Terrell trying to make the punch to the inside. He will do that. It's Vincent behind Comstock, and Terrell may not keep that third spot. To the outside is the challenge, and that high lane move is going to pay off in a big way. Move EJ O'Rourke to P3.
Yeah, O'Rourke was trying to help Dwayne out there, got pushed on him on the front straightaway, trying to give him a little bit of a boost there. The 9 car really didn't get up and on it in comparison to our race leader. Still a good restart. He's going to be able to get the P2 that slides O'Rourke back to third at end of 94 to Bobby Terrell into the number 4 spot. Top 5, 6, 7 now all the way through the top 10. Single foul, 3 wide contact, 77. Sherry Ann Mills turned down into the grass. The 41 hard in the wall as well. Nathan Little.
And there's the caution flag again, Evan, and Nathan Little, he gonna need some parts and pieces after that one. That car is hurting. That was a wicked hit into the wall right there.
We had 2 wrecks at the same time.
I don't know
behind
what that was,
them.
but that just happened.
Yeah, right behind them. We had cars going through the grass, which is why I may have been surprised why the caution flew right away. 3 wide with Jimmy North, the 62 on the bottom of him. That was the entry of John Wilco, and then up behind that 98 of Stephen Herring. 3 wide, and the 84 and the 98 just kind of met each other in one of those, the wall grab, glitch, whatever you want to call it. Grabs the 84 to Jimmy North, throws him into the fence a couple of times. He falls back down, luckily on all 4 tires, but he does take a tow back to pit road. So 2 simultaneous incidents that time through going to cause damage on about 3 cars. Tough break, though, for Nathan Little, getting caught up in that one, the 41 in the wall as well. As well as Sherry Ann Mills was having a great run up inside the top 20, continuing to move forward, caught up in that one as well. And 3 wide, there's the room, there's the square footage for it, if you want to call it. It's not practical, though, all the time, and a lot of people just ran out of real estate there.
We talk about the fight for real estate, Eric Brundy's. I mean, this track's so abrasive. It's so hard. You're searching for rubber the entire race. You're searching for anywhere that car will grip and do what you need it to do. And we see these kinds of wrecks very often here at Michigan. I'm a little surprised, to be honest, that we haven't seen more of the aggressive nature of these wrecks tonight. For the most part, it's not been anything too crazy, and that might be about the craziest thing we've seen is the fake out from pit road.
Yeah, you know, when you have close quarters like that, you know, with this car and this track, usually when there's wrecks, they're going to be big ones. But you know, I've seen a few pretty good ones tonight. But you know, there could be an even bigger one here as we close to the finish here and people get more desperate.
Desperation, Evan. How desperate are you going to be with only 8 races on the schedule and 35 laps to settle the first win of the winter season? Do we dare use the word desperation yet?
It's the first race, and again, it's an 8-race season, and you talked about there's no drop weeks. You don't really have a mulligan. 8 races is really not a lot of time to recover from something. If you're a guy like Garrett Atwell, took the 2-tire call, was the top 5 car, got junked in that incident, and now, you know, now he's back to P19 with a torn-up car. That's going to hurt. But it's also hard to forget, or hard to remember, rather, that you're points racing when you're 5 wide down the front straightaway with an opportunity to get 4 spots in one swing at it. These guys are going to be driving a little bit over their head, I have to say. It's a combination of, you know, the racetrack, that it can allow you to at least think that you can make those kind of moves, and the fact that it's the first race of the season, you really want to get off to a good start. Again, it's all about the risk versus reward, though. How bad do you want that spot?
Yeah, and you know, you talk about risk versus reward. Let's talk about some guys who have been rewarded so far tonight. Some of our movers here in this opening race of the Icebreaker Series. How about Wyatt Wolf? 21st, he rides 6th. Plus 15 in that 56 machine. 27th to 11th for John Abbott, one of the kingpins of the RSR Trust, we'll call it. 19th to 12th, decent drive forward for L. Bryce Whitson Jr., up 7, up 15 for Mark Bratcher in that 38 machine, and 31st rather to 14th for Josh Morgan. Some of these guys having really good runs, and shout out to Dakota Bowman, the 59, up 10. He's 29th to 19th as a teammate to Sherry Ann Mills, who was caught up in that crash, but his first race as a full-time season member for RSR, running the full Icebreaker Series and doing a pretty solid job right now. Well, we've seen comers and goers, and right now, Evan, it's a bunch of guys who have made some nice moves. Even Jason Lester up 15, 24th and 9th on the racetrack.
And we've had 9 drivers to have issues to the point where they have fallen off of the lead lap. The light's still on the pace car. 26 guys on the lead lap. 1 lap down is Scott Saunders, teammate to Garrett Atwell, the 49, quite torn up. That Scott actually going to be having a full-time Cape and World Truck Series ride for 2015, so something to keep an eye on there as well. He is 1 lap down. Nathan Little, again, was dragged to the inside wall. Him and Sherry Ann Mills got a contact in a 3-4 wide situation. 41 is on pit road. He's 2 laps down. 3 laps down is Jimmy North. That machine is currently behind the wall, now actually officially out of this race. Everybody from there on back, I do believe, is officially retired. So Brian Macklin will get 30th, 31st to J. Randall Watkins, 32nd, Mike Montesi, William Kemp in 33rd, 34th, Brian Harvey, and Joey Jettina, who just secured his ARCA deal for Daytona 2015, going to come home 35th position as well. So we have a lot of drivers that have been able to start back in the pack, move their way forward as the lights go on the pace car, but equally as such, we've had a lot of drivers that have had a rough go to get their 2014-2015 Icebreaker Winter Series campaign kicked off. And, you know, you never want to start in a hole to get things kicked off, and they're only going to have to be able to look up from here after these rough starts.
Rough starts, and we might be in for a rough finish here, as it looks like everybody's starting to get doubled up, or in a few cases when they can't figure out where they're going, they're trying to go 3 wide under caution I mean, it's bad enough when we see them do it under green. Now they're trying to do it when they're not even at pace. Geez, guys, let's get with the program here. We got 33 laps to go, and y'all got time to make up spots. So with that being said, David Comstock, Dwayne Vincent, it seems like that's been the front row for about the last, I don't know, ever. At least so far in this race, about 30 laps or so. And that has been the top two. Those cars have been dominant. E.J. O'Rourke, I'm interested to see what he can do on this restart. That 23 has looked pretty good so far, especially over this last run. So Terrell, Lacrosse, Wyatt Wolf, I'm watching that 56 on this restart. He's had a nice run going, and now the field back in the hands of David Comstock. Pace cars in, American Ethanol, green flag back in the air, and Comstock's gone. The battle's for second. E.J. O'Rourke and Dwayne Vincent, they're going at it, and behind them, Bobby Terrell's trying to make a move to the outside, trying to shove the 9 of Vincent right back on by.
And to the bottom he goes. Can he be able to pick up the gas in time? Dwayne's got a huge run on the high side. Going to get that little bit of a run off the banking. Right up next to the fence is that number 9 car. Give it to P2 for the number 9 machine. Now side by side for third. A small challenge from Bobby Terrell. Had the run, but had to go to the outside. That does not come to fruition as he goes into 3. Tucks back in line. Single file for the moment. A little bit of connection issues there temporarily for the 94 car. No problems there. And takes a look to the inside. 23 shuts the door. 94 goes high. No challenge. Putting on the moves for P3. E.J. O'Rourke with some defensive driving.
Yeah, talk about defensive driving. We're getting down to crunch time now, Eric Rodriguez, and this is the part where I think, as you once told me earlier this season, there's a whole lot less give and a whole lot more attempt to take, because it doesn't always work on the take front.
Oh yeah, you just gotta stay aggressive, especially at momentum racetracks and then momentum car. This is the part of the race where you stop maybe driving smartly and you start relying on your instincts and what you got to do to get to the front.
One guy who is trying to rely on instincts is that guy in position number 4 right now. Just took it away from Bobby Terrell. That is Matt Lacrosse, the 21, and Terrell trying to pull that crossover, come back on him on this restart. We're only about 2 laps past that. Here's Terrell back to the inside. Lacrosse taking it high. 21 and 94 going at it again, and Lacrosse may lose 2 on this exchange. Wyatt Wolf looking to the inside, falls back into line for right now, but it's still tight. I mean, Matt Lacrosse, that 21, 56, Wyatt Wolf, they're about to be going at it in 1, as right now, Evan, we just crossed the 2/3 mark of this race. 30 to go this time.
And it's these top spots that are single filed for the moment. It's behind there where things are getting pretty hairy. We've got a lot of drivers here not happy with each other. Trouble for the 19 machine. 3 wide with Joshua Morgan. Gotta get a replay of this. And 3 and 4 was side by side with the 59 car. Really had to back out of it. 19 went to the bottom, and they made contact. Both the 97 and the 19 into the fence. That scared Atwell. Atwell went down through the grass, took a small excursion through victory lane, got back out on track. 97 did as well, but they are not happy, and they're exchanging some different views on what happened there over the radio.
Yeah, I wondered how long it would be before we got a few tempers flaring as we take a look at the replay, Evan, and I mean, you gotta chalk that up to a racing incident. I didn't see anything that was anybody doing anything crazy on this most recent little excursion, we'll call it. I'm ready to chalk that up to just one of those deals, especially at Michigan, because one of the things we really haven't talked about as much, I mean, we've talked about the draft. Well, I don't think we've really hit on exactly how big that closing rate really is, front bumper to rear bumper, Evan. You can come right up on somebody and give them a shot without even attempting to do it, really. It's just that closing rate's so quick, especially down these big, long straightaways.
You got to work the momentum, which forces you to be more aggressive. And, you could have said that the 19 may have backed out of it, then he would have gained a spot. Things happen so quick. You just almost have to stay in it. If you make and not really maybe in that situation because they were at the back of the pack, but when you're in the middle of the pack, one thing I noticed when the 19 was sliding back on that 2-tire call, and I talked to Garrett, he said that he recognizes that it was not the right thing to do there. But when he was in the middle, guys were going high. He tried to move down for him. Then a car goes to the bottom. He tried to move high for him. You know, you can't really try to get out of each other's way because it could just further escalate that incident. So you really just got to stick with where you're running and hope that everybody else is able to get around you from that point.
Yeah, and while we're hoping for guys to get around other guys, Doug Roth just got around the 56 of Wyatt Wolf. That was the battle for 6th position. Give the advantage to the 43 of Roth, and he's trying to start a late race charge maybe towards the front of this field. He's got about a second's gap to catch these front 5, but if these front 5 get to racing each other, he'll definitely have a shot to do it. They've closed to within 3/4 of a second now. Kevin Linden got through, kicked Wyatt Wolf back to the 8th position now. The 48's on the rise late in the go-ins here, and it just hasn't been enough. These top 5 have been the 5 cars to beat all night long. And Eric, it seems like we see that in these Michigan races. You'll get 3, 4, 5 cars who are just that much better than the rest of the field that they can pull it away just enough to settle it amongst themselves. And I think these front 5 from Comstock to O'Rourke, they've really proven that so far tonight, that the road to victory is going to go through one, or in this case, all of them.
Yeah, you know, they're all, you know, they've all been around, and they're all really good drivers. And, you know, I think at this track, you got to be smooth. And, you know, if you're smooth and you nail your restarts, you're going to get good starts, and you're going to be able to stay up front most of the time.
Do you miss it yet? I mean, I know you're up here and you love being in that driver's seat. Do you miss it yet?
Yeah, I'm starting to miss it a little bit. Had to put my wheel away because otherwise it would have been too tempting. But no, yeah, it's been a blast to watch this.
And it's only getting better. 23 laps to go now, and it's a car length for the battle for the lead. We're going on board right here it's dicey, Evan, and you just wait. Somebody's going to make a mistake, and it's going to open the door, and then it's on.
And you can't hesitate when that happens. You got to go with it, and you got to hope that it works out, and you come out the other side of that corner with that machine still in one piece. EJ O'Rourke very slowly starting to slip off the back end of this lead draft. Again, for the second time tonight, the lucky number is 5. The top 5 is that lead draft of cars, only separated by 0.7 of a second. From there on back, 2.5 plus to the good for Doug Roth, who sits in 6th position. Great run for the 43 car tonight so far. Big gap for the top 5 back to them. So if this thing stays green, it should be decided between these top 5 in theory, unless these guys have some sort of major issue. But so far, they're minding their P's and Q's. They're single file at the moment, side by side back for P10. Now the 24 of Marinac battling. That's with the 92 of Jason Lester.
Yeah, and Stefan Marinac is a man on a mission right now. That 24 machine is rolling. He's back up to the top 10. He started 9th, but fell back through the middle section of this race, and he's rolling now, has picked his way forward, actually up to 9th now, around that 92 of Jason Lester. So Marinac trying to close. He now leads the 3rd pack, which is about 4.5 seconds behind, back from 9th to about 12th, where you find the 60 of John Higman Jr. You've got the 2nd pack from 8th to 6th or so, a 3-car run of Doug Roth, Kevin Linden, Wyatt Wolf, and then the front 5, who are about to be a front 4 if they can dispatch EJ O'Rourke here in a minute. He's 3 car lengths behind the front 4, but if they get ready to shake it up like I think they're going to, they're going to be side by side here in a minute, and EJ is going to have a chance to catch back up because they are looking inside, and nobody wants to be that first guy to step out of line, Evan. Nobody wants to be that first one to go.
In the 23, losing time on some laps, gaining time on some others, and again, right now, single file in front of him. He really wants them to get battling, so he's able to come back up and through this one. This next time by the start-finish line, David Comstock continues to lead out front. Going to be 20 laps to go in this race, 40 miles to the checkered flag, and it's been the top 2, even top 3. Throw Bobby Terrell in that mix as well. Cars all race long that currently occupy those podium running positions as well. I talked about earlier, don't count that 21 out. Has shown some speed. Matt Lacrosse right there in 4th spot. But all these guys, almost a mental game that they're playing with each other, waiting to see how early you make a move, how late you make a move. Big trouble for that 23 of O'Rourke, got real tight off the corner, nearly knocked the fence down. He was able to keep it out of it, but that costs him any shot that he had, at least for this moment, of catching that lead pack and lose a lot of time.
Yeah, coming to 19 laps to go, and we know the drama's good, but we're going to see if we can't slide in a very... Well, I say that, but no. We're going to stay right here because they're trying to go 3 wide for P2. Matt Lacrosse thinks better of it, and it's going to be side by side for second. Bobby Terrell on the move to the inside of Dwayne Vincent. That is the battle that's going to allow David Comstock to pull away by 2, maybe 3 car lengths. Does Lacrosse go inside?
Caution.
No, he doesn't, and yellow is out. Trouble on the racetrack, and oh, here we go now, boys.
Dakota Bowman's got heavy black smoke pouring out of the 50-don machine. The double O of L. Bryce Whitson Jr. is turned around, so one would say something happened between those guys. Get to work on that replay. This incident happened in the quarter number 1, going live now, and not sure if the 00 forgot there was a corner or maybe thought he was clear or something, but he just drifted slowly up into that 59, didn't give him any more room there, and they made contact with the wall. The 00 nearly blew over on that one. They both get some minor damage, I guess we'll call it, compared to what they've already gotten so far tonight. Big loser, and that's going to be Dakota because he had quite a good race car. Heavy black smoke's going to force him down pit road now to get that fixed if he doesn't want to lose that engine, but it was a strange incident there. Maybe just the lapse in concentration causing that one in one.
I'm disappointed for that incident, especially for Dakota Bowman. I mean, he had a top 15 car there in the latter stages of this race, Evan. Disappointing for that rookie team, teammate to Sherry Ann Mills, and Sherry Ann had her own trouble earlier in this race. She's kind of rebounded to about a 17th place position as they run here, and just one of those tough breaks. I mean, you hate to see it happen to anybody, and you know, it's hard for me to cast blame on that incident, but at the same time, you look at one of those and go, huh, wait a minute here. So I won't point the finger directly towards anybody on that one. I mean, you see these kinds of incidents often enough. Seeing most of the leaders, though, with 18 to go, they're coming down pit road, Evan. This is going to be interesting.
Looks like almost everybody coming down pit road. Nobody's staying out. The question will be, do we see anybody make the 2-tire call? Comstock leads us down from the lead lap cars. Right side's up. Left side's going to be going up as well. 4-tire stop on the way for the 20. And there goes that 14 machine off of pit road. Bobby Terrell will be the first car out. A 9.1 second pit stop. 2-tire call on that. First car out on 4 tires is going to be David Comstock. Joshua Morgan stays out. That is a lap machine. He's going to wait to get a wave around on that. So we're going to have one lone driver in the 2-tire call.
Well, I mean, let's stop and think about this, though, Evan, and I'll even throw Eric into this. If you had to pick one driver to go on 2 tires, I mean, I would take the 94 any day of the week. I watched him do it in an ITSR race earlier this season. Evan, I mean, he knows how to drive his guts out when he has to.
Yeah, I mentioned ITSR. I think maybe Jose Gonzalez. I know Jose likes to do it, but
yeah, there you
Bobby
go.
Terrell has never shied away from trying to make it. They called him Here Comes Bobby because he comes in these latter stages and swoops in and tries to steal these things. Well, he really hasn't been hanging back. He's been a top 5 car. Not sure if it'll work out, but the 94 is going to give her a shot at it.
That's all they need is a shot. And Eric, how many shots do you think we're going to be taking on this restart?
Yeah, you know, it's getting to that time where, I mean, you got to go. There's, 15 to go, so you got to make your moves now because you might not get a chance to later, so.
Evan, over under on how many wide they're going to try to stick it down into turn 1? I'll go 5.
I'll say they're a little bit more tame. We'll go with 4.
Fair enough. We'll see.
That's positive thinking.
that's positive. That's positive thinking. That's something, all right. Let's say we reset the field here with going to be 15 laps to go. So it's Bobby Terrell leading, David Comstock, Dwayne Vincent, Matt Lacrosse, Doug Roth, the top 5. EJ O'Rourke lost 3 spots on that exchange to 6th. Kevin Linden, 7th. Wyatt Wolf, Stephen Marinac, John Higman Jr., the rest of the top 10. Scott Simley in 11th. John Abbott, 12th. Ronnie Potts, 13th. Jason Lester, 14th. 15th. Roger Wagner, 16th. Jonathan Cadell, 17th. Ralph Nolan Jr. Sherry Ann Mills, 18th. 19th. Stephen Herring. 20th is going to be Mark Bratcher, John Wilco, Scott Saunders, and it looks like Dan Murray and L. Bryce Whitson Jr., the final cars on the lead lap. So we're going to have 24 slugging it out, and it looks like Whitson going to be the recipient of that end of the longest line penalty, Evan, for being named the cause of the caution. So race control going to put him to the tail, but I mean, not hard to do when you're already there.
He's got a lot of damage. He's trying to get that fixed, doing the strategy where as the field cycles through now down the front straightaway, he goes back out of pit road. He tried to stay in there as long as possible. Lights on for the pace car, so he's not going to be able to duck back down to get more damage repaired quite yet, but will continue to do that if he still has optional repairs as this race cycles through. Another thing that the 94 could be looking at is you don't really need a straight up beat Comstock on 14 laps. If you get a couple of cautions, 94 really just needs to nail these restarts as the control car, and he could get some help on the caution flags trying to stay up front. But I mean, you can never count out the 20. Also the 9 of Dwayne Vincent. Vincent has been a little bit faster all night than David Comstock on the short run, and I mean the really short run. I mean right out of the box, the 9 gets going. 20 car not too long later is able to pick up a little bit of time, get around to Wayne. Vincent hangs with him, but I think that 9 car being so strong on these restarts, watch out for that Napa machine going to be restarting in 3rd as well.
I'll take caution flags at the end of races for 500, Alex.
How many? 2, 3?
It's probably going to take 3 if Bobby Terrell wants to win this race. He's going to need 3 of them. That's 12 laps of caution. We're going to get the green flag with 14 laps to go. So he's going to need 3 of them to time it perfectly. It's possible. I mean, it is Michigan after all. So we're about to find out. iRacing, Ford First Mustang pace car to the safety of the pit lane. Field in the hands of Bobby Terrell. Green flag in the air. We're back underway. 14 to settle it. Here in the Irish Hills, Comstock to 2nd. Vincent to 3rd. Lacrosse on the high lane going for 3rd as they all storm towards turn 1 there. 3 wide, already back in the pack.
And Dwayne's able to hang on to that P2 side by side up inside the top 10. 24, 48 going at it. Give it to Kevin Linden. That was a challenge for 8th spot. More side by side behind them. Relatively calm though. 60 to the inside of Marinac. That's going to be for 9th. But here's the gap now. Caution flag will fly. Comstock was about to make his move to the bottom. 1 car around down the back. Stephen Herring. Dakota Bowman slow as well.
Well, there's 1. If we're counting, if we're keeping score, there's 1.
It started back with another machine that had some trouble. Looks like the 62 car. John Wilco just lost that thing on the bottom. Came up in the overcorrect. Actually did a really good job, as well did the 98 machine to get around that. But it was because the 62 got sideways, the 98 had to move up. And for the second time in a row, Jacob, it's Dakota Bowman who... is just riding up on a high side and gets pinched into the wall at no fault of his own, and that's going to cause even more damage. He's back down pit road. It gets from bad to worse for the 59 team. It's unfortunate.
Was your tongue trying to go for Talladega at Michigan? That's kind of what it sounded like. I mean, hey, why not?
We'll make it work. I'm surprised that they were that tame.
Yeah,
I think they're saving it up for one more wild one here.
At least. I mean, 12 laps to go now, and I mean, we look at this. This is, I think we're up to about 8 caution flags in this race now. We've seen a decent amount of action at the front of this field too, between Terrell, Comstock, Vincent. They've all taken turns at the front of this field tonight. I mean, it's a rather predictably unpredictable top 10, maybe, Evan. It would be the best way to put it. Most of the guys we expect, 1 or 2 like a Marinac or a Wyatt Wolf, who have had really good runs tonight that you don't expect, but I don't think any of us are surprised that Bobby Terrell leads this race when it comes down to money time, and on strategy, no less.
And that 94 is going to be digging for this one this year. Again, it was in 2013 that in the Inside Sim Racing TV, the Asphalt Assault Series, which is the B Series that runs simultaneously with the Cup Series, that he lost the championship to the driver of that 24, who sits 9th right now, Stefan Marinac, a 36 race season by 1 point. Came into 2014, Marinac was not in it. Another second in the points in this most recent 10 race campaign in 2014 for the Asphalt Assault Series. Again, back-to-back second place finishes. He's good at this B car. It's right in his wheelhouse. He's P1 right now. By no surprise, was third fastest in practice, was a top 10 car in qualifying. He sits as the leader right now on some strategy, trying to hope that the cards may fall his direction and he may be able to ride out a couple of yellows. If not that, just straight up hold off Comstock. He knows how to wheel this car as well to try to get this checkered flag. The 94 is probably determined as ever, I'd say, to get one of these RSR championships.
How about lucky sevens for you? I mean, if we were going to Vegas, Evan, you're in Vegas, so you can take these to the bank and do something with them. 7 cautions, 7 lead changes. Go win the lottery for me, why don't you?
I want to make note, I've been talking 2013, 2014, Chad Cole is a familiar name at RSR.
Just a bit.
Absentee for a little while. He started winning early in the Full Throttle Cup, but he took a break from the sim racing, and especially for a lot of the guys that would do the Pro Series on Tuesday nights, especially the Full Throttle Cup Series, with big prizes on the line, high risk. You got to put a lot of time into this. Chad Cole has kind of gone on a hiatus. Nobody knows where he is. Dominated this series as well. Also very strong. He has the most RSR wins at 66. That's 33% more than any other driver. 22 wins behind him. He's the second most winning driver. And there was some speculation that Chad Cole would be the sting of the Icebreaker Winter Series and possibly make some sort of return in these next 8 races. Not Michigan, but maybe something to keep an eye on to see if that name pops up here rolling forward. That would be nice to see.
Let's be realistic. Chad Cole could miss Michigan, come back and win 5 of the next 7 races and take all the prizes.
This is a true statement, and it comes to say it. I mean, it's saying something. It's not unrealistic to say that as well. I mean, despite the competition he got in here, it's 66 career RSR wins. We got guys out here in the Full Throttle Cup Series that are battling for championships, and they've run strong all year and should probably have a handful of trips to victory lane, and it's not easy. He's got 66 of them.
Eric's got about I think 7 of them. He had 5 this year in Full Throttle Cup alone, and I mean, Eric, you've raced against guys like Chad, like Bobby, and especially looking at Bobby out front of this field right now. How tough is it going to be for these guys behind him to hold off the run and get around this muscle milk machine to try and steal the trophy here in these final laps? We know Bobby's not just going to roll over and give it to him. He is going to fight, he is going to gut, and he's going to make it fun for us to watch.
Oh yeah, Bobby's a great driver. I've had the privilege of racing with him for a while now, and he runs you clean, and he's really, really good, really fast. He doesn't make too many mistakes, and that's a winning formula no matter how you look at it. So
it may come down to a mistake is what it may come down to, Evan. Terrell, Comstock, Vincent, Lacrosse, O'Rourke. Those have been the front 5 for the second half of this race. Nobody's made a mistake yet. That's the key word. We're going to have 9 laps to go when we get the green flag. The iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car about to wrap up this 7th caution of the night here in the Irish Hills. Bobby Terrell, David Comstock, they're the ones who have got the field in the palm of their hands. Coming off down the front straightaway, green flag in the air. Terrell's on the gas, he's gone. Comstock, Vincent, that's the battle for second. The 94's got the jump, and the battle's going to be side by side, wheel to wheel for P2 in turn 1.
We're 4 wide for about 18th position back in the pack. They sort that out, but the battle is for second. The more they battle each other, the longer it gives Terrell time to run away. What's at stake is whoever clears the other guy first is going to have the best shot at racing for that checkered flag. Still door to door. Dwayne Vincent on the bottom. David Comstock up high. The 21 of Matt Lacrosse tucked up right behind the number 9 car down on that bottom lane. It is a 3-car battle for the number 2 position. Still 2 now, possibly 3 wide. The 21 takes a look to the inside as well. That has to hold off the 20 of Comstock from pinching Dwayne Vincent down. Not quite clear yet. Can the 9 car get it? He's got through to P2. Dwayne Vincent now's got his eyes on the 94.
Yeah, and I don't know that Bobby Terrell's going to have enough. He needs a caution in a hurry. We're down to 7.5 laps to go, and the skirmish is for second behind the race leader. 3 cars still going at it. Lacrosse is there. Comstock is there. Dwayne Vincent's there and nearly got into the fence. He slices down across the nose of the 21 of Lacrosse, who's going through for third. Comstock's shot to win, I believe, is over. We got 7 laps, 14 miles to go. Dwayne Vincent's got the best shot at this in the Napa number 9. It's 2 car lengths back to 1. The scrambles for third. Lacrosse and Comstock made contact down the front straightaway.
Contact back in the back, the 95 punts the 49. That's Scott Saunders in the wall. That is P24 for the 94. And well, now we're hitting each other at 49, 97. They're running into each other. This is back in the pack. There's a little bit of temper in that mix, but it is a car length for the top spot. This time by going to be 6 laps to go. Window of opportunity is still there for one final caution, one final restart. 2 more circuits at a caution would end this race under caution flag conditions. 2 car lengths now for the top spot. Matt Lacrosse to the outside. He wants second. Vincent goes back up, shuts the door again.
Yeah, David Comstock just tagged the wall. He's back to 5th, and he's going to lose some more time to Doug Roth. I mean, you look at that. That was the race's dominant car here 15 laps ago, the Monster Energy machine. Now in trouble. He's falling back, could potentially lose a spot in the top 5, but I'm watching how good the 94 of Bobby Terrell is through turns 3 and 4. Eric, he just gets such a run off the exit of the corner down the front straightaway. That's where you make so much speed, and it's got to help right now that Lacrosse is pressuring Vincent no end for that second spot.
I'm impressed that the 94 is hanging on as tough as he is. That time by 5 laps to go. If a caution does not come out in this next about 1 mile stint on this lap, then it may end this race under a caution flag condition. And as long as it's not trouble for Bobby Terrell, this win going to go to the Muscle Milk Machine. Still 1.5, 2 car lengths between the top 2. Dwayne Vincent digging everything that he has. He knows that this race could end at any moment, with still lots of 2-3 wide back in the pack here. Battling hard for the top spot that I'm trying to get whatever he can out of it. Gain some time that time through 3 and 4. 4 to go.
Eric, if you're the 9 of Vincent, are you saving anything at this point? Or are you going for broke now, knowing that if a caution comes out, it's done? Or are you saving to try and get the tires right where they need to be in that sweet spot for one shot at it?
No, you're going right now. I mean, when you get into that window where yellow wins the race, you gotta go 110%. So I'm sure Dwayne's really digging out there.
6 miles, 3 laps to go when they come to the line. Vincent looks to the outside. Can't do it. Tries the crossover off turn 4. He got a great run this time. It may be side by side. It is side by side for the lead. Dwayne Vincent to the bottom. Takes it away at the start-finish line. No, he does not. Bobby Terrell by 8 1/1000ths of a second, but I don't think he's going to have it back to 1. No, he's not. The Napa machine to the lead. Dwayne Vincent to the top of the pylon.
Right back to the inside, though, off of 2 goes Bobby Terrell. Don't expect him to give anything up here. Side by side, once again, going down to the 3. The 21 could play Kyle Busch in this place. Spoiler, if our top 2 get together, or if they keep going at it. Vincent keeps that nose at the right rear quarter panel of Bobby Terrell. Can't get clear. Still side by side. Going to be neck and neck advantage once again to 94 at the stripe. 4 miles to the checkered flag.
6 1/1000ths of a second that time by, and Lacrosse is just waiting. He wants to play spoiler. Vincent to the outside, Terrell down low. Can Lacrosse push the 94 through, or will the 9 use the momentum to go to victory lane? They're just 3 miles away, and E.J. O'Rourke has snuck into this in 4th. He's not out of it yet to 3.
Big run from the 23 back. He's about 6 car lengths off that top spot right now. Terrell, look, he just can't get clear. That on keeps that nose right on that right side of the 94. Holds him off. It was 800. It was 8,000s. It was 6,000s the last time by. This time by, white flag in the air, only 1/100 separate the top 2. It's going to be a green flag race. 21, 23 trying to play spoiler. They sit 3rd and 4th, still battling. Great entrance in the quarter number 1 and 2 for the 9 of Vincent. He's got half a nose.
He does, but Terrell is still there. It could be side by side all the way to the finish. Lacrosse trying to shove the 94 to victory lane. They head to turn number 3 for the final time. Leaders side by side to turns 3 and 4. Terrell on the inside lane, Vincent on the outside lane, Lacrosse going 3 wide. They're crashing in the pack for the win off turn 4. They're going 4 wide almost to the line. Dwayne Vincent gets the win in a 3 wide photo finish. Have you ever?
No, I've never.
What a finish, and they kept it clean. The 21 went to go low. I thought he may have been pushing Terrell through, and Terrell shut the door on that one, went back up high. Dwayne had the run. There was one more lap. I think that 23 may have had something to say about it as well. E.J. O'Rourke making some noise as well.
Can we look at this again, please? Let's look at it again.
What a finish.
Wow.
How about that for the first race?
And they were crashing 5 rows deep behind them. I mean, there were cars everywhere in turn 4. Are you kidding me? Wow.
Can't ask for much more than that out of a first race.
Oh, absolutely not. How about that for you, Eric? That enough excitement for you?
Oh yeah, you know, I'm glad. I kind of glad I didn't race it now because I got the best seat in the house up here. So.
All right, let's catch our breaths from that. Dwayne Vincent gonna burn the house down on the front straightaway, and boy, he has earned it after this one. What a finish. Vincent gets the win. He'll start the celebration, and we'll come back for the RSR post-race show right after this here on LSRTV from Michigan International Speedway.
Nope.
Welcome back to LSRTV, and what a wow! I'm not even sure where to start with that, Evan. Other than I'll pull this card back out for you. I'm not sure what that was, but holy cow, that just happened! Almost 4 wide at the finish. Are you kidding me?
I mean, they went 4 wide in the opening laps, might as well do it at the end as well. One more lap, but I think that we could have seen that fourth place car there at the end. EJ O'Rourke possibly play spoiler, but what a great drive. We saw guys backing it up, trying to get the run off. We saw guys really diving it in. It was hurting them on the run off, and that could have easily gone any way. Despite all the swapping, it was Terrell who led it all the way up until that last lap, where the 9 was able to get the job done on the outside lane. And I mean, what a finish. Exactly. I mean, right neck and neck also for P2. That spot only separated by 4 1,000s as well.
Yeah, speaking of P2, I'm down now, Evan, on pit road with the guy who just missed out on a runner-up finish. Gonna come home on the podium, though, the 21. Matt Lacrosse, you were the guy that dove to the bottom and made it 3 wide coming to the checkered flag. Got the big run on the bottom off turn 4, and where do you start with that? I mean, you didn't have a shot going into turn 3 at this. You were glued to the back bumper of Bobby's number 94, and then all of a sudden, here comes a run, and here you come, and you found a lane and almost grabbed a position out of it.
Yeah, that was that last corner. I knew that if I slowed down a little bit early, I could get back in the gas a little bit quicker, and hopefully it wouldn't push so bad. I mean, we had pretty new tires, so hopefully it wouldn't push so bad, so I could keep it to the floor while turning left to try to, because I knew they weren't going to go in the bottom because they're going to try to keep the momentum up. So I did everything I could just to not wreck. And once I got down to the bottom, I looked over and I looked at my relative, and all three of us were at that time were all 0.0, 0.0, 0.0. So I knew we were all side by side, and I was just hoping maybe I got a push from EJ or something. I don't know. I just had to try something, and it was fun though, man. That's one of the funnest races I've probably raced here in quite some time.
It was nuts from our standpoint, and you were a part of some 3 and 4 wide action on a couple of these restarts. How much drama was this race all the way through? Because there were a couple times where you could easily have been swept up in some of this, even at the front of the field. Nobody was letting up anything. One of the restarts almost going 5 wide. How do you survive one of these?
Well, I barely survived. Actually, I think at one point earlier, after the first pit stop, I came out 5th or 6th or something, and the 00 and Bobby were underneath me. I don't know if Bobby got some net code and hit the 00, and the 00 hit me, and luckily I saved it, and that caused a big caution. But there, yeah, I was completely sideways in the corner and ended up saving it and keep going. I mean, especially a place somewhere like Michigan, it's the draft is so big and everyone's kind of on top of each other, and it's hard to get away. So it's almost like a style of restrictor plate racing without a restrictor plate.
I think we compared it to that a time or two tonight, just with the way the closing rate is so big a factor here at Michigan. And next week we go from one of the biggest tracks on the schedule to one of the smallest tracks on the schedule. Go from this craziness down to another kind of craziness at Iowa Speedway for race 2. This is just an 8-race series through the winter off season. But how do you convert the mentality from Michigan all the way down to the short track beating and banging that we're going to have next Monday night?
I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to have to do it. I don't mind Iowa. Iowa's all right. Michigan's one of my favorite tracks. I mean, I'm from Michigan, so I took to Michigan, and I love racing here. But I like Iowa too. So, but all these guys in this series, man, there's a who's who of names in here, and everybody in here has done something really good, like Bobby and Dwayne and EJ. And then the people like Dan and Comstock and all those guys that and what's the 30? I can't think of his name, but he didn't. Yeah. Anyway, there's a bunch of people in here, and to finish third tonight was freaking awesome. I expected maybe a top 5 would have been great, but I'll take third. So look forward to it next week and see if we can keep this momentum up and just try to finish the top 5 and win some races if we can.
The Great Lakes State native comes home third, Matt Lacrosse. Matt, before we let you go, sponsors, supporters, who makes it happen for the 21 team?
Quick Car Racing Products. real sim graphics or sim racing graphics. You guys up at LSRTV, you guys do an awesome job. RSR for heading this league. This league's awesome. I left earlier last year, and I won't do that again. So, they always say it's always better on the other side if you leave. So, I won't be doing that anymore.
Matt comes home third. A solid run for this 21 team, Matt. We will see you next Monday night. Go short tracking.
Thank you, sir. See you later.
Evan Pasoko, that is Matt Lacrosse, and head a little bit further down pit road where you've got maybe the most dejected guy here, but I'd imagine there's still a smile there because of how exciting the end of that race was. But Bobby Terrell just a skosh short.
It's time in and time out, Bobby. It's always you and Dwayne Vincent. You guys went neck and neck. You had the better half of them there for those last few laps, having it at the stripe at one point by 8 1,000ths. The next time by 4 1,000ths. Then only 100th of a second. And in the end, it comes up. It's going to be 6 100ths of a second short of the checkered flag tonight. Going to be a P2, but it was the two-tire call. Looked like you were going to be able to make it done. Were you planned on maybe a little bit more cautions there? What was the strategy headed down on those pit stops for the final time? And what was it like racing with those guys at the end, nearly 4 wide to the checkers?
Well, I mean, I felt like I had a good long run car, so I was taking care of my stuff. And we really didn't get really good long runs in, but I still knew there at the end if it stayed green. But like I said, I just decided to take 2 just to see how it played out. Good experience. Hey, it was a good show.
8-race season getting kicked off. Going to be vying for the championship 1 week's time. Race 2, we go from Michigan down to a lot more compact race. Iowa Speedway. How confident are you in that one?
Very confident. I've run good there in the past, and it's a really good track for me. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that one.
All right, well, it's no surprise to see the number 94 up here inside and getting interviewed week in and week out here, Bobby, as you do with the B car. Another great run for you and the team. Before we let you go and get set for our next race in 1 week's time.
Easy at all, and you made a spectacle of it. Hung on the high lane, 8 1,000ths, 6 1,000ths, 100th at the white flag. Where did that run come from off turn 4 to propel you to victory lane?
Yeah, all I can say is wow myself, man. That was a blast. Bobby was doing a heck of a job on 2 tires. I just threw it in there, man, and hope that it stuck and coming out of 4, and it did. But what a finish! That was just a blast. I'm still shaking.
Let's talk about it, because you had one of the dominant cars. You, Bobby, and the 20 of David Comstock before he tagged the wall looked like had the 3 best cars all race long. How tough was it up front, though? Because even though you had such a good car, you couldn't roll over, because if you did, you were going to get freight trained by about 4 or 5 cars. It seemed like it was going to be 5 or 6 of you at the front of the field at once. You just couldn't let up for fear of getting dumped to the tail of the line.
Yeah, and David Comstock, he was super fast, and I said instead of racing him really hard, trying to go for the lead back and forth, I said I'm just going to fall in line behind him, try to save the tires and just ride until the end. And but between him and Bobby, EJ, Matt Lacrosse, everybody was fast, and like you said, you couldn't give up much. You had to hold your position, but if you started racing too hard side by side, you would lose position again. So I was just trying to ride, man, and it worked out at the end.
It did work out. You pick up this opening victory just less than a week removed from your first Pro Series start. It seems like
Yeah.
you've got all the momentum on your side, Dwayne. So how much confidence does this give you now, beating some of the best and able to maybe take that into another qualifying and hopefully a little more solid run tomorrow night?
Well, I think that momentum might end tomorrow night because Watkins Glen, I'm not a road racer, put it that way. So, but I'll give it my best and try to make the race for sure.
Hey, it'll be fun at least. I mean, shoot, you
Oh
had
yeah,
fun tonight, and we
I
know
had a blast.
road racing's fun.
Oh yeah, if I can make the race, it'll be a blast. And like I said, I'm gonna try my best, but I'm not, I'm not gonna be too down if I miss that one.
Well, Dwayne, before we cut you loose down here in Gatorade Victory Lane, no, you can't do it by yourself. And hey, you got to win. So let's shout out to the sponsors, supporters, the people behind the scenes who makes it happen for Dwayne Vincent and the 9 crew.
Well, here in RSR, my buddy Ronnie Potts, and just want to say thank you to all you guys at LSRTV. Y'all do a fantastic job. We all enjoy going back and watch these replays of it. And John Abbott and all those guys at RSR for everything they do. And just had a blast. I really enjoyed it tonight. That was a lot of fun.
Let's do it again in a week, headed to Iowa. Dwayne Vincent, the victor tonight here in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Dwayne, you get to celebrate for a whole week, and we'll
Yes,
see you
sir.
back for Iowa.
Will do, buddy. Thank you.
That's it from down here in Victory Lane. Dwayne Vincent, the winner, and Evan Pasoko. I'm going to throw it back to pit road one more time with you because there's one more guy who tried to stick it 4 wide, just didn't quite have enough room on the apron, but still, I heard him say maybe we didn't have a 4th place car. Well, he got a 4th place finish, and that's EJ O'Rourke.
Well, I'll tell you what, this 23 Gary Mercer Trucking Inc. team was never gave up tonight. I didn't qualify too well, qualified 11th, but took 2 tires early on and got to the top 5 and was able to kind of ride it out there. And I don't think I left the top 5 the rest of the race and was able to hang with the draft with the front guys up there and hang on to 4th at the end.
EJ, you guys were able to pick up a total of 7 spots. I think if there were 2 more miles, this top 3, top 4 could have looked a lot different. You were coming flying up there, especially when we saw Dwayne and Bobby get battling at it side by side. You and Matt Lacrosse were kind of hanging in the wings. He was able to make a move down to the bottom. Do you think that if there was one more lap tacked onto this one, that you may have been able to put up a fight for them if they kept digging? Because that was a wild final set of laps.
It's hard to say because the draft plays such a key role in this track here in Michigan. But, I was hoping, I don't want to see wrecks, but the only way I think I was going to win that thing is if they start a door banging and wreck and come into the checkered flag. But I'll take 4th place. It took me 10 weeks last season in the Icebreaker Series to get a top 5. So, kick it off with 4th place in the first week this season is great.
Well, it is 8 races. 1 is in the books. It's going to be a top 5 for you tonight. Looking forward at this 2014-2015 campaign. We go from the 2-mile D-shaped oval of Michigan, shrinking it down a little bit before we get into the 1.5s mid-season. Iowa coming up in 1 week's time. One of the shorter tracks on the schedule, actually the shortest track that we do have on this schedule. How confident are you not only rolling into that one, but with your thoughts now rolling forward in a legitimate fight for the championship, knowing that you got your season kicked off on a positive note?
Well, the Iowa Speedway is probably my favorite track on iRacing Simulation. Hopefully I can battle for the win and get my first Icebreaker Series win up there at Iowa.
Well, that's something dangerous to hear the 23 saying he loves Iowa. Everybody look out. It's a P4 tonight, EJ. Before we let you go, sponsors and shout-outs, everybody who made this happen.
Well, first of all, I have to say thank you to Real Sim Racing and everyone over here for letting me be a part of the Icebreaker Series again for the second full-time season for me. And, of course, Gary Mercer Trucking. I can't thank Brennan enough and Gary for letting me run their colors for the past couple of years. I love supporting them, and they're a great company.
All right, well, that is tonight's 4th place finisher. EJ, again, congratulations on the top 5. And you say you like Iowa. We'll be keeping an eye on that 23 machine, looking for a good run next week.
Thank you.
Jacob, that's it down here from Pit Road. The gmercer.com Chevrolet going to get a P4 tonight.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to take it back upstairs now, and I'll wait for you to catch your breath and get back up the stairs here, Evan. But taking a look down the iRacing final race rundown tonight, and it's the Napa number 9, Dwayne Vincent going to victory lane. He started on pole. He finishes ahead of Bobby Terrell and Matt Lacrosse in a 3-wide photo finish. EJ O'Rourke talked to him, finished 4th. Stefan Marinac, where did he come from? For a top 5 result, Kevin Linden in the 48, 6th. Doug Roth, 7th. 8th is John Higman Jr., 9th to Wyatt Wolf. And how about this, Evan? Mark Bratcher, top 10 result after he started 28th.
And this is where things got fun from here on back, because half of these cars were upside down, spinning. They were destroyed. It's going to be a P11 for Scott Simley. May have been better than that. Got caught up in that whole trouble in 3 and 4. He's able to get an 11th place after starting in 22nd. Good pickup for that team. Ronnie Potts, who started 4th, he'll get a P12 tonight. 13th position, that's Jason Lester. That's an 11 spot pickup from where he started. Gaining 16 spots throughout the race, Sherry Ann Mills recovers for a top 15. She gets P14. 15th would go to Dan Murray, and in 16th position was Ralph Nolan Jr. Bryce Whitson Jr., he's able to recover after a rough night. He gets 17th. 18th would go to Stephen Herring after starting way back in 35th spot. 19th position, Scott Saunders. 20th would be John Abbott.
Last 2 cars on the lead lap. 21st was John Wilco, and David Comstock was swept up in that final lap melee. He comes home 22nd after running in the top 5 all night long. 1 lap down in 23rd is Roger Wagner. 24th, a lap down, Jonathan Cadell. Most of the rest of these cars out of the race. Josh Morgan, I believe, may have finished. He was 5 laps down, 25th. The rest of these cars were out of the race after late race troubles. Dakota Bowman in 26th, 27th, Garrett Atwell, 28th, Nathan Little, 29th, Jimmy North, and 30th, Brian Macklin, 31st, J. Randall Watkins, 32nd, Mike Montesi, 33rd, William Kemp, 34th, Brian Harvey, and shotgun on the field tonight, being caught up on a lap 16 crash. The 14, Joey Jatina, rounds out this race. And Evan, what a night. What a way to kick off this Icebreaker Winter Series. 3 wide, almost 4 wide in a photo finish. And we get to go to Iowa next? Heck yes.
You think they were getting, physical and bouncing off each other here, going, nearly 180 miles an hour. Wait till you put them out there on, it's not a short track, but it's a short track. It's Iowa. It's the smallest track we got on the schedule. There's going to be a lot of beating and banging. And to say the least, that one should be a quote-unquote barn burner as well. A lot of good guys. I think there we may see the tire strategy become more of a factor as well. A lot more of that could come to a mix. And if this was any sort of a sign of things to come, then this is going to be a good 2014-2015 campaign. Great way to kick it off.
Oh, it's a great way to kick it off. And before we go off the air tonight, I do want to pass along my condolences, and I'm sure the condolences of everybody at LSRTV and RSR to L. Bryce Whitson Jr. and his entire family. Bryce's brother, Gary, passing away a couple days ago. Saw that yesterday afternoon, and keeping them in our thoughts. I know tough time, tough way to have it happen over the holidays, but L. Bryce Whitson Jr. Toughing it out racing tonight, coming home on the lead lap in 17th, and I'm sure just trying to keep the eyes forward. But we're thinking about you, my friend, and looking forward to now next week at Iowa Speedway, round 2 of this Ice Winter Series for Real Sim Racing, and for all of us at RSR and LSR TV, for Evan Pasoko and Eric Brundies, who joined us in the broadcast booth tonight, as well as our executive producer, Laura Lawson. I'm Jacob Seelman. Race fans, keep it off the wall until we meet again. We'll see you next time right here on the web. Congratulations to Dwayne Vincent. The Napa 9 wins it in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Checkered flag. And next Monday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on LSR TV, we'll be here, and you should be too. So long from Brooklyn.